Yo, what is going on, guys? So today, I guess we're doing a little live stream. This is something that I kind of just happened to do last minute, and wasn't really something I planned on. But to be completely honest, I didn't plan on doing a post game video until tomorrow at the earliest. But the Cowboys kind of came out and outperformed their expectations, so I figured why not do a little surprise post game live stream, and let's go and get started. So the first thing I want to point out is that Mike McCarthy, I think I've been calling him out a lot lately. And what I've really been saying is that I've never seen a team quit on a head coach and then come back and play hard for that head coach. And I've got to say, while I thought that they definitely quit on him within the past, 3, 4 weeks ago, it does seem, what's up, X Factor, by the way? I just saw your comment. But it does seem that the team is back to playing hard, if not harder than ever, for Mike McCarthy. It seems like they're starting to buy into what he's teaching, and it seems like they're starting to buy into the other rest of the coaching staff as well. Mike Nolan's defense had some positives, some negatives in this game, but I think there was a lot of good things to take away. At the end of the day, this was a game where, as Cowboys fans, we really didn't think we had a chance. And we came here and performed fairly well against the only undefeated team left in the NFL. And let's be completely honest here. I think the refs should probably deserve a thank you from Steelers players and Steelers fans. So let's see what X Factor said here. I'm upset because I am like, why can they not play like this every single week with that effort and passion? And yeah, I completely agree. But I will say this, X Factor, it seems like that just started like last week. With the defense, and the offense just wasn't capable last week, whether it being not being able to establish the run, play calling was still a little iffy, and Ben DiNucci just didn't have it, right? He was just kind of overwhelmed. And this week, we kind of made the play calling just a little better, just tightened up a little. We did establish the run game. I mean, Zeke struggled, and he does have the hamstring injury. But Tony Pollard had some big explosive runs, and Zeke was good at times when we needed him to be. So that's another thing. And then Garrett Gilbert came out and played a heck of a game. And he did make a couple of mistakes, but the one interception I want to point out, I believe that was a hold on the defense on I don't know who the wide receiver was, but he was held, and Gilbert knew that, and that's why he got rid of the ball and threw it that direction. Was it a mistake? Maybe should have just taken the sack for sure, because you never want to throw a pick there. But the receiver was held and they didn't call it, and they called something completely different. So that was kind of annoying. As far as other bad calls goes, the Van Der Esch one, that might be 50-50. I've heard that Chase Claypool was kind of accidentally grabbing Van Der Esch's face mask, but it was kind of weird to me the way Van Der Esch retaliated. He's not really known to do stuff like that. I've never seen him overreact like that, so maybe he felt like it was a 50-50 thing, and maybe it was. Maybe they should have both been penalized. Now, the roughing the passer by Jalen Smith was, first off, it was just a stupid penalty on Jalen Smith's behalf. He kind of sabotaged the game at the end, but at the same time, it was also just a very pity-patty call. He barely touched Ben Roethlisberger in the helmet, and Roethlisberger went down, and that kind of sucked. I'm trying to remember what the other Jalen Smith penalty was. I know there was one other one that was kind of questionable, and now I'm forgetting what it was. But yeah, lots of questionable penalties. And then there was the no call, not at the very end, but before our last possession, where Garrett Gilbert, they grabbed him by the horse collar on a big third down and brought him down, or a big fourth down, and they just didn't call it. And that probably would have been a game changer there. So that's annoying. The false start on the field goal before halftime is so extremely annoying. They missed the field goal. Then we get the false start called against them, which is supposed to help us, but it ends up giving them another shot at a field goal. It was from 59 instead of 54, and they make their franchise-long field goal against us because, of course, right? So let's see what else X Factor's saying here. Garrett Gilbert played better than Ben DiNucci, but yeah, we will see what happens to them for the rest of the season. So yeah, I want to point out, man, I got this sneaky suspicion that we're going to get too cute again. And in 2 weeks, coming out of the bye week, we're going to be trying to start Andy Dalton. And man, in my opinion, Garrett Gilbert kind of came out and earned the starting job today. He played a lot better than Ben DiNucci, and he played a little bit better than Andy Dalton from what I've seen. And if anything, he looked a little more mobile and a little more comfortable in a collapsing pocket than Andy Dalton has, even across Andy Dalton's career. I mean, the Steelers were constantly sending 5 guys, and the throws where Gilbert did kind of let it sail a little bit, I mean, he had pressure in his face. So I thought he was even competitive in that situation. But, man, when he had some time in a clean pocket, he was very accurate, and he was just making some nice throws. Like that one in the first quarter from the get-go was just awesome to Amari Cooper. What else he say? So X Factor said, also, I think if Dak Prescott wins this game, if he was healthy, but, hey, they did cover the spread for the first time this season. So, yeah, I probably would agree that Dak would have won this game, just going off of what we saw today. And I also think that if Garrett Gilbert would have started last week against the Eagles, we could have probably counted on that being a win. Like I said, the defense was equally good, if not better, last week. Well, they were better last week because they forced 4 turnovers last week, and they didn't do that this week. But they did their job, I thought, for the most part. But yeah, definitely. I mean, if we had Dak, I think the past 2 weeks would have probably been wins. And in the future, I think if Garrett Gilbert can play at this level, then we might be capable of winning a few games, because now it looks like Mike Nolan might have a little grasp on things defensively now that everybody's healthy. Now that Sean Lee's back, now that all the defensive backs are healthy, it's starting to just come together just a little bit. Neville Gallimore is showing some stuff. I mean, he had a couple really nice tackles in that first quarter, so I like what I saw out of him for sure, because that's where we need help the most. So, I mean, if he becomes something and Tristan Hill comes back next year and he has a little something, then maybe that defensive tackle position isn't looking so bad. Let's see. So you said, X Factor said, I did not think they would get the ball back once again after Garrett Gilbert got sacked. So, yeah, I already mentioned that sack, and I think it was horse collar. Leave me a comment letting me know what y'all think it was. I think they definitely grabbed Garrett Gilbert by the horse collar on that play. It was clear. The refs just chose not to call it for whatever reason. But yeah, I will say that that the Steelers didn't play that too smart, right? Or play it too safe. Romo kind of explained it, and it does make some sense. They took a lot of time out the clock. We had no timeouts, even if they don't get the first down, which they ended up not getting, going for it on 4th and 1. It did make some sense because it gave us 80-something yards to go. And the idea of us driving 80 yards, although we did a pretty darn good job, we didn't quite do it. But, man, we came pretty close. I mean, even that last play of the game, I mean, Garrett Gilbert saw something. He tried to fit a throw into a tight window. He couldn't quite do it. But, man, he was very competitive even in pressure situations. So I thought that was awesome to see. Let's see. I do wonder, should they give Garrett Gilbert the starting job the rest of the season? I would say yes, because why not? We know what Andy Dalton is, and Ben DiNucci is not ready yet. So, yeah, definitely agree. It's definitely not going to be DiNucci at this point. I mean, Garrett Gilbert's earned that spot day one over DiNucci. I mean, he did it today. Now, as far as Andy Dalton goes, we know he struggles a little bit with that pressure, and he's not as mobile as what we saw out of Garrett Gilbert, because even towards the end of the game, Gilbert was at his best when he was able to, and not just being mobile, but, man, he was able to climb the pocket and just buy himself some time and make some plays. And then there were times where the pocket was kind of collapsing around him, and he had to throw off his back foot, and he overthrew a few guys, but it wasn't that ugly, and he wasn't missing throws by much. There was a throw to CeeDee Lamb towards the end where he just barely missed him. So, yeah, if I'm the GM, I'm giving Andy Dalton the backup quarterback job. When he comes back, I'm giving Garrett Gilbert the starting job in 2 weeks. And God, I got to look. I don't even know who we're playing coming off the bye week. Is it the Bengals, Washington? Who are we playing? I don't even know. But anyways, it was saw Garrett Gilbert from the AAF today. Yeah, I was watching his highlights earlier as well, and I kind of remember him because I live in South Carolina, and South Carolina Gamecocks old head coach, old ball coach, Steve Spurrier used to coach the Orlando Apollos that one year in the AAF. And it was kind of a fun squad, a really good team. They had that one linebacker who was really good too, Terrence Garvin, I think it is. And Garrett Gilbert was kind of like the star of the AAF as far as quarterback play goes. And we kind of saw a little bit more of that today. I mean, he looked really good. In a clean pocket, he was very accurate. Minnesota Vikings. Gilbert's got the starting job. no doubt. He's got heart and toys and one game experience. I'll take it. So what's up, Quest? What's going on, man? Appreciate your comment. Appreciate you coming in for the live feed. And yeah, I agree, right? We saw, I mean, he was able to actually use the weapons. Dalton wasn't able to. I'm not saying it was necessarily Dalton's fault, but he wasn't able to get CeeDee Lamb, Gallup, Amari Cooper, all these guys going. Same with Ben DiNucci. But we saw Garrett Gilbert kind of get everybody involved today. It was really nice to see. I mean, he looked like a legitimate. That's what you want your backup quarterback to look like, right? You don't want your backup quarterback to look like Ben DiNucci. Who knows what we would have gotten out of Cooper Rush today. X Factor said, I said Minnesota Vikings because that is okay. That's who we play after the bye week, right? Okay, so yes, I mean they're a struggling team, but they have played pretty good the past couple of weeks. I think they smoked the Lions today, and they did the same thing to Green Bay last week. But I mean they're a beatable team, right? I mean they don't. I mean if I'm looking at that offense, if you can slow down Dalvin Cook, which is probably easier said than done, and Madison and who's the other guy, Abdullah, which is going to be tough. I mean, we did a pretty good job against James Conner today, and we did a good job against. Well, we didn't do a great job against Boston Scott. So I am a little worried about Dalvin Cook in 2 weeks. We'll have to talk about that a little more here over the next week or so, going through the bye week. But, I mean, Kirk Cousins and even with those receivers, I mean, I think we can kind of slow them down. I think on offense, I mean, I think Garrett Gilbert could probably pick apart that Vikings secondary, right? I mean, they're not looking way too strong. Their defensive line is just kind of So, I mean, yeah, I think we could definitely be competitive against the Vikings, although I could see them running the ball all over us. So, outside of that, guys, I think from a perspective of a Cowboys fan, you got to be pretty excited with that. We all thought that game was going to go really poorly. We all hoped it wouldn't, and I think it ended up being a really good thing. The defense was pretty close 2 or 3 times from picking off Ben Roethlisberger. It's like Trayvon Diggs is always in the right spot. Donovan Wilson and him both had their hands on that ball. I think if Wilson wasn't in that play, then Diggs is probably coming down with that. So if you really want to go into why we lost this game, you can't say that there were some bad calls towards the end of the game, and there definitely were. But as far as moving forward goes, you got to win the turnover battle. And I guess one was because of a bad call. One was because of the defensive holding no call. Sorry, I'm slurring my words. I'm a little tired. But the other turnover was just bad. The one in the first half with CeeDee Lamb just kind of, it almost looked like an interception. It went off of Lamb caught it, and then it kind of went off of his hands. That was really bad, and that cost us. And the end of the first half was just brutal. That kind of put a damper on the game for me. But we came out in the second half when we remained competitive, and the defense wasn't perfect, but they were definitely fighting out there. So I like what I see. Let's see what else Quest said. Tonight, Gilbert beat out Andy Dalton. I don't care what happens in practice. He is better. He's got that it factor that I'm always looking for. And yeah, I completely agree. And I hope that the Cowboys are smart enough to see it. I hope that Mike McCarthy is smart enough to come out and name Garrett Gilbert the starter. I think he's earned that chance at least to go play the Vikings. If he is horrible against Minnesota's secondary, which is kind of below average, then maybe you go from there and make a change. But what do you have to lose at this point? You're 2-7, I believe we are, and it's just nothing has been working out. And we saw a little spark for the first time since really Dak Prescott got hurt. So that was definitely exciting. And I agree. You kind of saw a little bit of the it factor from Garrett Gilbert, the same thing that he showed in the AAF. He's shown that it can translate to the NFL as well. So you give him some weapons, you give him a clean pocket, and he's definitely going to make some throws. So, and it's interesting when not only are the Vikings beatable, but we got a Bengals team who's 2-5, but they're pretty good 2-5 team in my opinion. Maybe they're 2-6, 2-5, 2-6, whatever they are. But they're one of the better 2-win teams in the NFL. But could the Cowboys compete with them if they play the way we did today and the defense continues to play the way they have the past couple of weeks? I definitely think so. The 49ers are historically a tough team, but they have a lot of injuries right now, and they're struggling as a result. So if they don't have their quarterback, their wide receivers, maybe one of the running backs, that sort of thing, do we have a chance against them? Maybe. And then you have to look at playing the Giants a second time, playing Washington a second time, heck, maybe even the Eagles. I mean, you're starting to see maybe we finish the season with one more win, something like that. But don't be shocked if we finish the season with like 3 more wins. So now I'm starting to think again, maybe, just maybe, this team could get 5 or 6 wins this year. And it's kind of crazy to even think about. But I mean, the playoffs aren't completely out of the picture. It's tough to say. I mean, the Eagles, like I said, if we go back and play the Eagles again this week with Garrett Gilbert at quarterback, I think we might beat the Eagles. So I think that might be the difference maker right there. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go back throughout the week. I'm going to watch some tape. I'm going to go look up some stats, that kind of thing. Let's see what else Quest said. I think our defense is beginning to understand the defensive scheme. Cowboys are getting better before our eyes. I'm proud to say it again. Cowboys, man, maybe this is why I'm not the GM, because I was very quick to jump the gun on Mike Nolan, very quick to jump the gun on Mike McCarthy. And it looks like they're starting to buy into Mike McCarthy. So I got to give him a little bit of credit. And it does look like they're starting to pick up on whatever Mike Nolan's teaching. There's still some struggles here and there, but when I see someone like Neville Gallimore make a couple plays, I see Randy Gregory with a nice little swim move coming off the edge and hitting Ben Roethlisberger. I see us very close to making interceptions. I see small adjustments. Darian Thompson's not out there quite as much as safety. Donovan Wilson pretty much has that starting job locked down now. And I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I jumped the gun a little too quick on Mike Nolan. Maybe we can figure it out. So it's exciting to see. It definitely is moving forward. And now we got a couple weeks to prepare for that game against the Minnesota Vikings. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. So, guys, I appreciate you, Quest. Appreciate you, X Factor, for coming in the live stream and chatting with me, watching my post-game thoughts. And that is pretty much going to do it for today, guys. Do me a big favor and definitely smash that subscribe button for some more daily Dallas Cowboys content. And also leave a like and a comment once it's uploaded. And that's it. So I'm out. Peace.